So moving on, now we're still in part 2, but we're going to look at examples 3 and 4. So example 3 says, for us to solve or to find the exact value of y equals the inverse cosine of negative square root of 2 over 2. All right, so let's take the inverse of it. So that means that negative square root of 2 over 2 is equal to cosine of y. So we're looking for cosine of some angle that's going to give us a negative square root of 2 over 2. So, but remember, cosine, it tells us inverse cosine is between 0 and pi. So if you think about your unit circle, here's 0, here's pi, and it's between 0 and pi. So we're looking in quadrants 1 and 2. All right, well here cosine is going to be the negative square root of 2 over 2. So we know that cosine is negative in which of those two quadrants? Hopefully you thought quadrant 2. All right, so, but now remember that cosine of theta is equal to x over r, and r is one of my unit circle, so I'm looking for the x value. So I'm looking for where x is the negative square root of 2 over 2 in quadrant 2. And so you can see there that it's at the angle 3 pi over 4. And so that is just our solution. And then example 4 says y is equal to the arc cosine of 1/2. Remember, arc cosine and inverse cosine are the same exact thing. So if you need to, you can rewrite this. But go ahead and take the inverse of it. So this just means that 1/2 is equal to the arc cosine of y, or inverse cosine of y, whichever way you want to write it. So we're looking for the cosine of what angle is going to give me 1/2. Well, remember, inverse cosine or arc cosine is in quadrants 1 and 2. And here it's a positive 1/2, so we know that our cosine is positive. Which quadrant is that in? Well, that should be in quadrant 1. So we're looking in quadrant 1, where cosine is a positive 1/2. And remember, we did it above, but cosine of theta is x over r, and on your unit circle, r is 1. So we're just looking for where x is a 1/2. And so when you find that on your unit circle, it should be at the angle pi over 3. So that would be what our y would equal. Now y is not in the ordered pair x and y, let me clarify. Y is in, we started looking for y is equal to. So the arc cosine of 1/2 is equal to pi over 3.